Before we get into it, I want to remind everyone that we are presented by BetOnline.ag. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and number one source for everything sports betting. Every stat, matchup breakdown, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. BetOnline has the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA, and even political props. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.
This shit feel like game 7. Put lines up through my S's. Wake up in the morning, count my blessings. Feel like heaven.
Welcome to the Money Down, the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag. Appreciate you guys liking, subscribing, tuning in, having some dope content. See, everybody love the cool Ken comment on Mike McDaniel.
They fighting on that
a hard time.
You right, Ken. You right, Ken. I said, you know what's so crazy though? It was dope because it's mixed. It's like mixed reviews. You got you got some people saying like, nah, they agree. Then some of them other comments, boy, I'm ready to fight for my dog, man.
You love that though.
Hey fam, I really was riding the whip like, damn, should I respond to this? Like, nah, I ain't gonna. They going a little too hard, dog. Like, I might need to respond and say something back. Then I'm like, nah, what's the point, bro?
I would close this morning. Like, I woke up like
I would close.
I closed 4 a.m. Somebody was sending some junk like, your friend did it. I'm like, hold on now.
Yeah,
like,
homie.
Yeah, you going a little too far with this now. You know, gotta let people rock out though, because I can't be.
Yeah,
I don't go to that side. You know what I'm saying? But it's cool to see that.
It's just Twitter fingers.
Yeah.
Hey, but but I wanted to say this though, because like homie in the comments was like, "Oh, you know, James, this is your friend," and I had to think about it, and I was like, "Yeah, but it's not James. Like, I could say it, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want you saying some of the crazy stuff, but shit, I ain't never picking up no football ever again. I'll say it. Bro called me stupid and everything. Like, but
you know,
Twitter fingers, Warren, you got it.
Yeah, it's Twitter fingers. You know, guy. You know, people like to have an opinion even though they ain't never played the game before. You know, it's a lot of them. We call them male Karens. It's all right.
I like that.
It's all right.
Everybody
all right.
doing that. Everybody
got an opinion. Everybody got it. Everybody was an All-American in elementary school on their little tight team, so they feel like they got something they got to say.
Yeah. It's fine for everybody to have their opinion, but when you get to calling people out their name and this and that, that's when we take it a little too far. So let's be a little bit better in those comments. You know, a few days ago in the NFL, we had Diontae Johnson. He was traded from the Panthers to the Ravens. How do y'all think that, boosts this football team? I mean, they've already been, one of the best offenses in the league. They, getting like 450 yards a game. Derrick Henry on fire, Lamar on fire. I do think the other side of the ball needs to be cleaned up for them some. For sure. But I do think Diontae Johnson gives them another weapon, alongside Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar, and Bateman, a dude who's a crisp route runner. I think he's still a pretty underrated receiver in this league. I know with the Steelers a couple of years he had, the drops and everything, but I think he's cleaned that up some. He gets Lamar get him another route runner. They really doing whatever they can to put some good pieces around him, and he's already flourishing, so I can only imagine going to make him even better.
No, I think that just adds another weapon to their offense. I mean, we've seen Diontae Johnson play. We know what he's capable of. We've seen him when he was in Pittsburgh, right? He played very well in Pittsburgh. Now he was in Carolina. Obviously, we know, as Breeze said, Carolina was destined. They were doomed from the beginning. But, now being in Baltimore, in my opinion, I think he could easily step in and be a number 2, right? You got Zay Flowers, who's obviously a number 1. You got Mark Andrews when he plays well and things like that. But I think Diontae Johnson can easily step in and be a reliable number 2.
Yeah, I kind of put this in the same category as the Jets trading for Devontae Adams. And again, a key piece that can add to your offense. But, for me with the Ravens, it's like I don't think their offense needed another piece. If it was something that I feel like should be, on the trade board and highlighted, like you said, it was the defense, right? Secondary really hasn't been covering well. Like, let's just call it what it is. You get what I'm saying? And I think for them to get to the Super Bowl, that's the aspect of it that's gonna have to be addressed at some point. Diontae Johnson is you talked about him being able to step in. Diontae Johnson is a one on other teams. I just think with this, just stepping into the offense and learning, and kind of getting on the same page as Lamar. Lamar presents his problems to defenses and play a different style of ball. We're just going to have to see if they're going to mesh. But I think overall, improving on offense, you can never, add too many weapons. But I think for the Ravens in the conversation that they are in as far as top teams in the league, they got to get that secondary right or it's going to be trouble. Because you're going to have to deal with Kansas City. You're going to have to deal with, I'm trying to think who else. Buffalo is getting better in the pass game. Like, there's going to be teams in the playoffs that are going to present a lot of problems in the pass game. So you got to have a secondary good enough.
Do y'all think Zay Flowers is still receiver one? I think he still is.
I do. I do.
Until Diontae's there for a few weeks and we see how he meshes, with Lamar and everything. Because you never know how these type situations go. He may land here. He may be frustrated. He's not getting, many targets based on what's going on because Derek going to get his totes. Lamar going to do his things. They going to get his touches and everything. And then, however the rest of those touches get spread. Because you got Likely, you got, Mark Andrews starting to get back in rhythm. So, this probably one of the best, teams that he's been on with this amount of weapons. I know he had George Pickens, with the Steelers. I feel like their offense didn't have as much, if I know it was with him, Pickens. Was Claypool? Claypool might have been there in the beginning. I think so. And they got traded or cut or whatever. Yeah, traded or cut or something. But this would be the most talent he's probably been around. And you may not see as many targets, so it'd be interesting to see how he handles all of that.
But, you brought up and not because but you brought up a great point. Like, I ain't even thinking of it like that because, you talking about, Bateman's a first round, pick. Aguilar was a first round pick.
His first round pick.
And it's tough for a player that's used to, even on a bad team, right? You used to getting, even this year, like let's just say on a low end, he was getting 5-6 targets a game. That might be cut to, you might get one or two, because like you said, Derrick Henry got to get his touches. Lamar got to do what he got to do, in the run game as well. But then when you literally name all the weapons that surround him, all these people going to want to get the ball. But I think in that Ravens offense, they have gotten accustomed to and adjusted to and understand that I might only see 1 or 2 targets a game. Mm-hmm. And not everybody is able to kind of wrap their head around that. So we're going to really learn a lot about Diontae really right now because, like you said, bro, you might go a quarter, 2 quarters without seeing it. And that's tough. That's real tough. Yeah. Contract year 2. That contract is next year, so there's a lot of stuff to take in, consideration about this trade.
Yeah. And in Pittsburgh, you getting frustrated. Them last year, Pittsburgh, you getting frustrated not getting that rock. So we'll see how he handles himself in Baltimore. Another topic we talked about, on our last pod on the Monday, live episode, we were talking about the whole Anthony Richardson getting tired in the situation. And then the next day, they decided to officially bench him. I know something that Soj you kind of called for. Said, I'm wondering why Joe Flacco not in the game if I'm his teammate. And they decided to make the decision. Do y'all think it's the right move for their football team?
Yeah, it's like it's so crazy. It happened literally the next day, like a couple hours. It's like, dang, they hear me, y'all boys. Like,
they listening.
But I just think it's the right move. You're talking about a team that can potentially and very well be a playoff team and a contender. They have the weapons on offense. Their defense, I won't say stars you as far as like with the star power, but their defense plays perfect. Plays well enough, and the guys on that team play to the system as good as any other team could play. So I think it's the right move for right now. And then again, Anthony Richardson is young. I think so much of these young quarterbacks getting drafted in the first, obviously the first round, but the top 10 picks, the top 5 picks, is forcing a lot of these teams and a lot of fans to think that you have to be ready right now, and you don't have to be. Let him learn under Joe Flacco, who's a Super Bowl winning quarterback who has all the experience in the world, and let him grow, man. There's so much you can learn as a young fella and a quarterback from an old and a top dog. Like Joe Flacco was one of the best in the league at one point. Learn from Joe and then, take another shot at it later on in this year or even next year.
How you feel about it, Warren?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was a good move. I mean, like, we talked about this before about development, just like Sojourn said, like, let him learn under a Super Bowl winning quarterback and give him an opportunity to develop. I mean, right now, we haven't seen him reach his peak. He's not in his prime yet. He's still got some years to learn. And right now, I think, it's still, that young mentality, right? He still has a young mentality. Like, veterans, like we talked about, you never seen them tap. You never seen them tap the helmet out of a game. Like, that's something like, you're the leader of the team, the leader of the offense. People look to you and things like that. It's just you got to be able to develop that type of mentality. And I think sitting behind a quarterback that's, been there, that can teach you some things. I mean, I think that's a good move for them. I mean, it's not like they're getting rid of him, right? Yeah. They're trying to help their chances this season to make the playoffs. Not saying that Anthony Richardson can't do that. He's a big-time playmaker. But right now, I think Joe Flacco gives you the best opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I think it's the right decision for their football team. Anthony Richardson, ton of talent, ton of potential. But right now, I think he's a little erratic. I think he puts the team in harm's way at times, and partially some of the reason why they lose some of these football games. And they're a 4-4 football team right now. They're 8th. In the AFC, so they're right there on the cusp of being in the playoffs. So, like, pretty much like one game out or so. So, look, they switching to Joe Flacco. Feel like he gives them the best opportunity to go out there and win football games and really get them over that hump to make sure they're in that playoff picture. Because, look, as a coach, this is his second year. Shane Steichen, they had a decent year last year. Almost made the playoffs. Last game of the year, they lost to the Texans. Texans ended up getting in. So, look, it's like, do I keep playing, my second-year quarterback and potentially, may not win as many football games? And then, my people start looking at me like, all right now, like, or do I put in the vet, what I'm saying, who I may trust a little bit more. He probably understands things a little bit more. He can help us win football games. And that way, I myself am in a better position. But I don't think this hurts Anthony Richardson whatsoever. Take some of the pressure off you. Just sit back, learn. We're all in favor of these dudes not being thrown in the fire and learn. This kid hasn't played a ton of football. He didn't play a ton at Florida. He didn't play a ton in his rookie year. Played a couple games, got hurt. There's a lot to learn. The game moves fast, and like he's a specimen. He's a special talent, but it kind of it takes time for a lot of these players, especially an inexperienced player. I do think the best football for him is ahead of him, and I think this will motivate him 100% to get to where he needs to be. You can even see in the interviews he's frustrated because they asked him like how did Shane Steichen kind of tell him why he was getting benched and this and that. He's like, he didn't really tell me. Like, so he's frustrated. Obviously, it's tough. With everything that went on this past weekend, but you got to use it as a motivating factor. Everybody, even myself, we've been on you, getting on you about everything that happened. Now, use it to fuel you to be the best version of yourself, whether that's, this year if your number gets called upon, or whether it's the following year. I'm not sure, what it may be. You never know. As Josh Downs said in his interview, Flacco is, 40 years old and all that. These quarterbacks, hey, his interview was funny because he was dead serious.
Here's the funny part, bro. Like, you say that, but Joe Flacco's the one that's got you all of your receptions and yards this year. Yeah, like he's been the reason you've gotten the production that you've had in the in the big games that you've had him in. So like chill on that now. 40, but
hey, quarterback, you be 40.
Throwing his pill.
Throwing that pill, you getting a rock. Because right now, if you look at it statistically, like Josh Downs' performances have not been great with Anthony Richardson under center. Yeah. So it's like, watch your words.
Yeah, you can't.
But what's so crazy? Like, a lot of this stuff becomes, and I don't want to say clique or friendships, but you kind of want to protect and you want to say the right things about your quarterback and somebody that you're close with on the team. And I don't, I can't say if him and Anthony Richardson are close for real, but it's just, to me, just knowing a lot of the younger receivers, quarterback. You probably close with him in some way. You don't want to say the wrong thing.
You're saying they're in the same draft class.
In the same draft class. You know they dogs. They roll tight, and as they should. So you don't want to kind of say the wrong thing. Because that's your dog at the end of the day. That's like one of us. You know what I'm saying? If I was tripping, you wouldn't want to say like, man, hey, he playing like crap.
Needed to happen.
Yeah, you feel me? Like
we see that. We say that to each other. We be real with each other.
Yeah, we be real with
not in the media.
In the media, you trying to like cover it up a little bit. So I think though, like you hinted to, man, Specimen got all the intangibles, the measurables. It's going to be good. I just think with some of these quarterbacks in the league just stepping in and having so much success, it's making it tough. Yeah. It's making it extremely tough on, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the quarterbacks that's coming in that's going to need to take a step and need to learn before they actually ready to be the face and control and be the forefront of an NFL football team.
It definitely takes time. And speaking of the media, as you said, we had an incident, this past Sunday night after the Sunday night game, 49ers, Cowboys, had Trevon Diggs, after the game, went into the locker room. And shortly after he went to the locker room, he saw a video of, whether it's a Cowboys media person or something that he recognized, call him out for loafing, chasing after George Kittle, decides to leave the locker room, because he just saw the guy, obviously. So he went inside the locker room, saw the video, left the locker room, approached him. He came out and found him, went straight to him. Like, what you mean? Like, this is what you took from that play? Like you tripping. Like, you don't know this? Like, these nuts and all that stuff, which he did, I will say. Now, at this point, he's already apologized. They've hashed it out. They talked it out. Everything's cool. And then we had, Tua the other day. They asked him about, the safety that they had during the game, the high snap or fast snap, whatever it was. He was like, I would love to see, one of you guys try and catch one of these fast snaps. It's a lot harder than it looks. Like, how do y'all feel about, some of these players, the way they've been, handling the media, kind of answering these questions? Look, it's not easy standing in the paint when things ain't going right and, answer the questions. It's not easy. Like, I will say that. But I do think, like I said, everybody's not going to react the same way. I'm going to be fair to that. Like, nothing wrong with people getting upset or this and that. But I do think sometimes these players are getting a little sensitive. Like, these guys, even with, just a couple weeks ago with Jerry Jones and the dude from the Cowboys radio show that he goes on every week, he got pretty sensitive about a basic question that it's a logical question. Like, I'm just trying to get answers. I'm just trying to do my job, trying to get a little bit of details. Don't get mad at me. Like, I ain't out there. Like, I don't know. Like, I ain't
Jerry said something about that boy job, fam. I said, whoa.
People just getting a little sensitive, and like I said, and I understand. Like, when it's hot, like we said, when it's hot in that building, things ain't going right. Look, that fuse is short. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how y'all feel about that.
Yeah, I'm on both sides of it, because obviously being a former player, I think we all go through that phase where you get on social media right after the game. You might search your name on Twitter. And hey, best believe if you have a good game, you're gonna see all the praise.
Yeah.
But the minute you have that bad game, you know what I'm saying? They on your ass for sure. Yeah. Oh, good catch, Diontae. They got everything to say. So I just think, from the standpoint of the media has a job to do too, and not kind of like, we're in that media space, like we're in this media space, but we understand it from a player's, perspective and view. So we don't say certain things, or we kind of might answer around the question or not address everything right off the bat as how maybe a person in the media who hasn't played might have asked it. So I just think, I think players also too got to stay off social media, man, especially after a game. Give yourself a time to decompress. I always look back to that Cam Newton situation after the Super Bowl, where you could honestly tell like he was aggravated. You just lost probably the most important game in your life. I think players need a second to answer some of these questions, because, bro, we human too. I want to say, and I want to address and get some of this frustration off me as well, off my chest. And sometimes I don't know how to handle it. Like, I think a lot of people kind of might think that, just because you get paid all this amount of bread and whatnot, like you don't have no emotions and you don't feel certain things too. And I will tell you 100%, we definitely do.
Yeah.
But I'm on the fence of both of it, man. I'm on the fence of both of it. Now that Tua situation, he being sensitive.
Yeah,
but the Diggs, I mean, the Diggs, he said what he needed to say. He probably could have said, not have said the, these nuts and stuff like that, whatever, cool. But them having a conversation about it, I think is a step. Like, I think reporters should have conversations and say, well, that's what you took from it. Like, well, this is from my point of view. I'm actually out there. And you can kind of hash it out at that point.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. What you said, James, about players, taking some time to decompress before answering questions and answering the media, because we all get upset when things are said about us that we can't defend ourselves in the moment, or talk about how we feel, as Breeze was saying, like we can't talk about what we saw in the moment and things like that. So I mean, I think it is smart for the players to decompress a little bit before they see what is said in the media. And I mean, another thing is, we all know that the media is going to do what they can to get a rise out of you. The media is going to do what they can to get a story. They're going to ask you the stupid questions. They're going to ask you something that's going to press a button, and that's their job in a sense, right? Like, we wish that wasn't the case, but it is what it is, because that's clickbait. That's what people want to hear. That's what people want to see. So sometimes, like, it is wise to, before you say something, realize that a lot of people are going to be seeing this. This is what they're trying to do. But again, it's hard to do that in the moment. Again, to the sensitivity part, man, we've been talking about Tua since the beginning of the season. Even was back since Brian Flores. Yeah. I mean, he has been a little sensitive. Like, people are going to criticize you regardless. I mean, like, take it for what it is, Yeah. And so whenever you get some criticism your way, like, that ain't a time for every time somebody says something negative about you for you to make a comment back, or, get in your feelings about it. Take it as it is and just say, okay, yeah, made a mistake, won't happen next time. Something like that, But yeah, it's, again, one, like I said, we know the media tries to get you in a spot where, things are going to be hot, because that's, good content. But then at the same time, us as players, we got to be able to, temper our emotions and answer the question properly, right? Even as much as we want to defend ourselves and say something, to the next person, we gotta watch it sometimes. So I'm also on the fence. It's a little bit of both sides.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes things do need to be addressed. You gotta call somebody out. You gotta talk to somebody. Yes, but you ain't gonna be able to address every single thing on social media and this and that. Like, you're gonna give way too much negative energy to yourself. You're gonna have to be able to just block some of that out and just play football. At the end of the day, everybody not gonna like you. Everybody not gonna approve, what you did. There's gonna be somebody that doesn't like what you're doing, or doesn't, whatever. Like, it's gonna be some type of negative comments out there. You don't have to address every single thing. And as Soj said, it's probably best to stay off, social media as best as you can. Like, I know, we can, we use it for, whatever, to make money or this and that, or for our brand and everything. But there's gonna be a negative side of it too. There's gonna be somebody hating underneath them kind of like. I'll never forget, after my second year, we played the Denver Broncos in the AFC Championship. That was like my first time playing in the playoffs that season. That game, I had like on record like 22 targets or some junk. Like, a lot of them wasn't even, the ball wasn't even thrown. Like, Tom was getting pressure, he just kind of throwing the ball, and I was like the nearest person. So they attributed that as a target. I remember coming to my phone after the game, like going on my IG and Twitter, people let me have it. Like, you just caught one of them. I mean, one more man. Like, you just did. Like, I'm like, damn. Like, but you can't look. Like, all you can do is just laugh it off, shrug it off. Like, the more you read that stuff, you gon' get frustrated, man. Like. Even I remember, like, Keenan, he text me or called me, like, after, he's like, I'm about to comment. I'm like, ain't even no point. Like, you don't want to give them people your energy. They probably frustrated. Maybe they fan this and that, or maybe they lost some money. They lost some cheese, lost some money. I don't know. Sure, it's fine that you upset. I mean, that's what people do now. They ain't gonna say it to your face. They gonna go to social media and do it. Hey, whatever. But y'all just, you go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I will say this though, and I commend that reporter with the Diggs situation, because he did say, like, if you wanna, pull over to the, and talk about it, we could talk about it. And I think I respect that more so of a fact, because everybody got something to say but won't give you the opportunity to kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's a lot of reporters that do that too. Everybody want to tweet and they want to say what they want to say and kind of say bad stuff about your name, but then when you approach them about it, they take the whole like defensive stance. And I think from the media's aspect, if we get more of, all right, James, I said this about you. Now we could, you know what I'm saying? We could talk one-on-one, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You get what I'm saying? But if I'm right, then it's I just think it's a conversation that needs to be had between media and players in a private setting. Everything doesn't have to be, oh, I said this, and here go James walking. Now it's being recorded. Like I just think it's too much of interactions that could be one-on-one. That it could go either way, right? We could get into an argument, but it don't gotta always be recorded. Everything nowadays is recorded and put on social media, and I think that's whack, honestly.
It definitely is. I do think the more like the conversation between Trayvon Diggs and the reporter, the more conversation like that can be had is better for both parties. That way you can actually kind of build a relationship, and I think that's the most important. It's the trust factor. I feel like most players don't necessarily trust some of the media that they see on a day-to-day basis. Maybe somebody wrote an article about you, this and that, but the more of a good relationship you can have, especially your own press, I think that makes a difference. Like for obviously somebody covering a different team, they don't see you every day. It's not going to be, it's going to be whatever. They're going to say whatever they need to because they've only met you or going to play against you that 1 week, and they're going to say whatever. But
I say respect too, bro.
Yeah, respect too. Yeah,
and I think when I look at shows, and it's a lot of people that First Take and all that stuff. We got people that probably can't do the things that we've been able to do as far as being on a football field. And I think when you hear that from people that haven't been in your shoes or in that position, I think that's where it's like you saying all this stuff, and you saying this stuff about my name, and you couldn't do it. Now if we get, and that's why I think I'm happy that more, sports and former players are getting into media, because I think when it comes from them, you can kind of respect them more, and you can say, you know what, hey, maybe I did do it better than this person, but they have been in the same shoes as me, and they kind of understand, right, what I might have, the decision I might have made, or it just gives you a little bit more that critique on if you're a former player. I feel
they give you a little bit more credibility, but I do think it's fair that
credibility is a perfect word.
I do think we have to give those people who don't play, we got to give them some grace, though. Like, we got to respect their opinion too. They see the game a completely different way than the players. It's completely different, but I think we do got to respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these people, they say maybe spend a lot of time, do whatever they can to try and learn the game. It's like I said, obviously it's different than actually sitting in the meeting room and learning. They learn it maybe from stats or whatever, all this analytics and this and that, or trying to watch film and trying to understand it themselves. So I'll give them credit for trying to, do whatever they can to learn the game. Like I said, it's not going to be exactly, like a player. I think we got to give them, their right due, because I don't think it's fair for only players, to be covering, the sports. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
Some people, they ain't gonna be as talented or this and that. They ain't gonna never had the opportunity to actually play, but they love the sport and they want to be involved with it. So I do think we got to respect that aspect of it. You about to say something, Warren? I was about
to say 100% what you're saying, but again, back to what Sol said, like, even on the media side, it's got to be respect for the players. You don't know the game like they do, things like that. Not saying that you haven't learned it, and kudos to those that, do try to learn the game and want to report on it and things like that. I think that's awesome. I think it's great that we have media and whatnot, but like, you got to have respect for the players. Like, you don't understand what they're going through on a day-to-day basis, day in, day out, game by game, stuff like that. When they have good performances, when they have bad performances, so on and so forth. Like, we all have emotions. So it's just more of just a respect thing, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's all about that, of course. No, like I said, no calling people out their name, don't go over the top doing this and that.
Do a little too much sometimes.
Yeah, let's just keep it respectful. Let's do that. And we got, week 9 NFL going on. We got Texans, Jets currently going on right now. It's not really a barn burner right now. It's 10-7. Jets still struggling, which is crazy. They can't figure out, how to get this offense going. The Texans, they beat up, with some of their skill position players. They doing what they can to go out here and try and win a football game. I don't know about these Jets, man. It's just crazy to watch, man. Devontae, he's not looking real smooth out there. Dudes just look unenergized, like Aaron not being Aaron. Offensive line not protecting. It's like, man, like why can't these dudes get it going over there?
Or when you're 2-6.
I think I know how to fix the Jets, dog.
Let us hear it.
I think I know how to fix the Jets. Not this year. So if you're a Jets fan, hey, listen, talk this year up, buddy. It's over with.
It's over with.
It's over with. But listen, if I'm Woody, who's the owner of the New York Jets, I don't know the whole tampering rules or when I can reach out and start interviewing people. But listen, I'm getting my money together. And I'm going after Ben Johnson, the OC for the Detroit Lions.
Smart.
I'm telling him, listen, I got Aaron Rodgers for you. And I got Devontae Adams for you. I got Garrett Wilson for you. I got a two-headed, monster backfield, like from what you're coming from. Maybe not the same caliber.
It's pretty similar.
Close.
It's pretty similar.
But it's pretty similar.
Braylon still got a lot to prove, but
it's pretty similar. Listen, bro, fix it. Just fix it. And then, man, I'm going, little Wisconsin love. If I can able to get that hire, I'm going to get Jimmy, man, who's an up and coming, secondary coach for the Denver Broncos. He was offered the Green Bay job, declined it because, he wasn't, whatever it may, he might have not felt he was ready or whatever it may be, and I'm letting him handle the defense. A younger player played for the New York Jets when they were the last time they was actually like really good,
pretty decent.
Was decent. Played for the Jets, and is somebody that can relate to the players. And again, he understands. He knows how to put things in a box for you so that you can have fun and you can go out there and you can play 100 miles per hour and you can just go out there and make plays. But the Jets got to figure it out soon, man. That like that's a market where if you ain't good, it's bad, man.
I like the defensive adjustment you talked about, like with picking up Jimmy. Like, bro, the things that Jimmy could possibly do with their defense, like Jimmy is a very aggressive coach, be smart. You know what I'm saying? And the Jets on paper have everything. They have one of the best defenses in the league on paper, right? Obviously, the performance hasn't been up to par this year as they would probably have hoped. But to imagine what Jimmy could do with their defense and the styles that he's coached in the past, like I know it was college and things like that, but being able to translate that, he has an NFL mindset. He's been there. He's had success. Like the things that he would be able to do with that defense, bro, I think would really turn things around for them. So I agree with that. For sure.
That could be a good look for them. We'll see what they end up deciding to do at the end of this terrible year that they have. We got some other marquee games. We got Detroit at Green Bay. We got your Rams at Seattle. Puka Nacua got hurt today.
Yeah,
so you got to see how we got Colts at Minnesota. Joe Flacco getting his start to go up against B-Flow in that defense. Got Tampa at Kansas City. That should be a solid. I know Tampa banged up with the receivers, but hopefully that should be a solid football game. Got Denver at Baltimore. Denver's defense is legit now, so that's gonna be an interesting matchup for Baltimore coming off a loss against Cleveland Browns last week, and then we got Dallas at Atlanta. So that could be a solid little game. Dallas trying to get back on track. Atlanta's been looking pretty good, so that could be a pretty interesting matchup. I don't know which one y'all looking forward to on Sunday.
I got a question.
Talk to us.
You talk about a quarterback that's got some experience, that's talented. Can Joe Flacco hand Minnesota their third loss?
Capable.
Okay. We talked about Jared Goff and Matt Stafford being able to do it, but we know, Super Bowl winning quarterback, Joe Flacco, very good, strong arm. Obviously, we talk about him being 40 and whatnot, but can he do it? He's got experience.
he could.
He got weapons.
And you got JT too. You got a run game.
Got JT.
A dude that can make explosive plays, so they definitely can do it. And I always said with the Vikings when they was hot, early on, I wanted to see how they would, play after handling some adversity. Now they got back-to-back losses. We'll see if they can shape back. I mean, they still been playing pretty decent in those losses, but we'll see how they shape back. And the Colts, they're a pretty decent football team. Like I said, I know Anthony Richardson had his little ups and downs, but most of those games they've been playing in pretty competitively. So with Joe Flacco in there, I'd assume, maybe things get like a little bit better, a little bit smoother offensively. They'll give their defense probably a little bit of a break, a little bit of a relief. You got JT, he was back last week, healthy, back again this week. I'm sure he's gonna be ready to go. So that's another way to slow down B-Flow's defense is run the football. Not getting them third long situations and control the clock that way. And we all know JT, he could do that for sure. Definitely can control a game.
Yeah, so I think that game's going to be – the game for me this week is two of them. I'm going to go with the Green Bay and Detroit game, and the reason why I say that is because, you talk about a division that's tough, man. It's a tough division this year. Like, you're going to have to be able to win. Usually 10 games will get you in the playoffs, but in that division, you're going to have to win. Oh, they counted as a touchdown. Oh, wow. Y'all seen that play?
Yeah, scary one.
In that division, you're going to have to win probably 11, 12 games to be in that conversation of making it, winning that division and making it to the playoffs. But Detroit, to me, is the best team in football right now. And I know a lot of people saying Kansas City. Obviously, Kansas City Super Bowl winning team, undefeated right now, of course. But as far as whole team, Detroit, I don't see many holes in their offense and their defense. They can pick you apart in the run game. You're talking about a game last week. Jared Goff threw for like 45 yards the whole game. They can beat you in so many ways. And we're talking about a Green Bay team as well. That's super good. Defense, super experienced, got all the weapons. Offense. If Jordan Love is hurt, I don't know if he's going to be in the lineup this week.
Yeah, they won't know yet.
They won't know yet. But I think that's going to be the game to watch. And then for me, just being a Falcon fan, I think we always win the games that we supposed to win, and then. Well, not even supposed to win, but like the games that's tough and the division games we'll win, and then we'll come out the next week and lay an egg. So this week for us Atlanta fans, I want to see something because
it's a telltale game for sure.
It's a telltale. Yeah. It's definitely a tell game against a team like Dallas. Come on, man, got to take advantage of it.
And I need Kurt to play some ball, man. Every time I bench him in fantasy, he turned up, had like 40 points. Nah, for the start of him. All right, Kurt, come on now. I need some consistency out of you. I need a 30 ball. You know what I'm saying?
Who y'all the Q?
I just picked up Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford, he did pretty solid last week. I don't know whether I should start him or not this week. We'll see. Puka Nacua might not be out there. I don't know. How you feeling, Warren? You going up against Seattle division team? Y'all right now, y'all in last place in the division. It ain't far off. Everybody.
No, we ain't far off. I think so. Obviously we in Seattle. We know what that's like. It's a tough environment. We down one guy at the moment. You know what I'm saying? But I think we'll be all right. I think it'll be a good game for us. It'll be a good test. We got some momentum, beating a really good Vikings team. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes this week. I do think that we have a good chance of winning this game. We got the weapons. Defense is playing hot so far out of these last couple of weeks. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I am excited about that. But I am excited about and Matt ain't gonna like me. Matt ain't gonna be happy about this. But I'm interested in that Bills and Dolphins game this week. I don't know why. It's a division matchup.
Yeah.
Tua is back.
Trying to get on track.
Trying to get on track, see what they start doing with Tyreek Hill, see if they put the ball in his hands more. Coming off of last week, Ken was hot about the way the Dolphins been playing and whatnot. So it'd be interesting. It is in Buffalo. You're right, Matt. But I'm interested in seeing how that game goes.
Yeah, that's always a good little matchup for sure. Whenever they face it, it either be either close or or usually Buffalo be the one that run away with it if they do. That's usually how I go.
This is a must. This is a must win for the Dolphins. Yeah, and I just know some of the players that they got in that locker room. I'm surprised we ain't hear nothing yet. Right? Like you got some strong personality players in there that don't got a problem going out and speaking in the media. So I will say. That locker room, they've been keeping everything. If it is hot, they've been keeping it.
They lose this one. They lose this one, Mike.
They lose this one.
Steam for the start.
Some of that steam for the start. You get out of that locker room. So we're going to see. But it's definitely a must-win for the Dolphins. The fans down here already. Listen, you need the Dolphins to win, man. It's hot down here, y'all boys. It's hot.
Hey, McKen said, man, them boys had to get
driving reckless.
People
driving reckless. It's hot, bro.
people Dolphins had to get sacrificed for them Canes this year, man. That's what happened.
He said. That's what he said.
They wanted the Canes trying to make the chip. Everybody else, even the Heat, we ain't looking too hot. Right now,
sacrifice. I don't know if that sacrifice is gonna help them, boy. I don't know. I don't think the Canes gonna make it.
I was gonna say that too. I don't think they're gonna make it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, you never know college football this year. I mean, you have no idea. Right. You have no idea what's gonna happen with that. And speaking of that, college football week 10 matchups. We got the big one, Ohio State at Penn State. So that's gonna be rocking out there. We got Oregon at Michigan. I think that's a little underrated game. Michigan, they trying to figure things out. They rotating quarterbacks and everything, but the brand of football that they play, if they get it rolling on you, you can't stop that run. You're gonna be in for a long game. Yeah, for a long game. So that'd be an
national championship hangover right now. They ain't even ranked.
I mean, they don't really have a stable quarterback. I think that's the biggest issue for them. And they've been kind of rotating guys all year long, different guys starting, and now they're kind of using Orgy just as a running quarterback, and the other guy, Warren, is the the passer and whatnot. So they're trying to figure out their formula. That's what's been working the last couple of weeks. We'll see how it works against Oregon. And the last one we got Pitt. At SMU. Hey, Pitt. Hey, Pitt kind of lit. Them boy, hey.
Lit, ain't they?
SMU kind of SMU pretty solid too.
SMU straight too now. So SMU been back since them sanctions stopped hitting.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a good matchup. SMU 7-1. Pitt, I'm pretty sure Pitt is undefeated still. The way they lit up my dog Kyle McCord. My dog Kyle McCord was balling till they saw Pitt.
They ran in the pit.
3 big sixes.
Woo! That's seeing ghosts. That's seeing ghosts, man.
3 pick sixes. That's crazy. Hopefully my guy shakes back. I don't know which one of those matchups y'all looking forward to.
I ain't gonna lie, it's a great week of college football. We ain't even talking. I think Indiana played Michigan State, and it's not that it's just I'm excited to keep seeing.
That's Indiana. A rivalry game, though, ain't it? Don't they play for something?
I don't know.
I feel like that. I don't know.
They did.
They got so many. They got so many different rivalries. He said,
they play for something.
So it's just like we getting into that part of the season where you're gonna start seeing who pretenders and who real. And Indiana is one of them teams that I know for all us we actually think they're real and they can maybe make a playoff run. We gonna see that game, and then Texas A&M at South Carolina.
Ooh, South Carolina always a little sneaky,
always a little sneaky. And South Carolina been playing they ain't been winning, but they been playing good, tough ball. So I think that's a game to watch out for because I really like that A&M team. I think they've got behind their head coach. They playing confident. And again, another one of those teams that's sneaky into that playoff conversation. They got Texas last game of the season or either second last game of the season. Just got a lot to look forward to, but you got to take care of these games that's on the schedule right now.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Ohio State, Penn State. Penn State, they took us down last week. We played them pretty closely for the most part until we threw the pick six, and that kind of shifted the rest of the game. They've been playing a lot of close football games, and then you have Ohio State. They had a little close football game with Nebraska last week. So we're going to find out is Ohio State, who we really think they are. I know they had a tough one out in Oregon. We'll see how they match up against Penn State. Penn State has a pretty solid defense, pretty good in the secondary, can rush the passer. We'll see how Will Howard and company. I mean, I'm sure Will Howard, Jeremiah Smith, and Buka Carnell, they'll do enough. I want to see their run game, really get going. We always kind of hype, my dog Judkins with the spin move and the college football game and everything, and Henderson.
That ain't real.
Hey, man,
that ain't real.
I gotta find a tweet.
Hey, y'all tweaked on that one.
Somebody said this ain't that spin move.
Yeah, them boys supposed to be running the ball with the amount of weapons you got on the outside, along with those two backs, I think you would expect those dudes to be, gashing folk, every week. But it hasn't been that. And like I said, the receivers, they've been doing. Carnell Tate had, his 100-yard game last week. So now they really got 3 receivers over there who can really go get it. I want to see if those backs can go out there and run that pill against Penn State this week, and vice versa. I want to see what Penn State looks like. We don't know if Drew Aller will be starting for him, so that could be a big hit. But I do they backup quarterback, Prabula, he's more of a runner, so that's presents Ohio State with a little bit of problems. They have some stuff you haven't seen on tape. We'll see how you really adjust to that. because he brings a little bit something different to the table. So I want to see that matchup.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Ohio State, Penn State too. I think we know the Penn State environment finna be cracking. Me and Soul just talking about this earlier today. Man, they don't have a night game, bro.
Yeah,
they got I get it, big noon kickoff, but noon, dog. That's supposed to be one of them prime time, perfect time of the night at Penn State whiteout games, man. So, but I mean, I think it's gonna be a great game. I actually think Penn State can win that game, even with Prbula if Aller doesn't start, because I do think Prbula poses a different challenge for Ohio State. But we'll see how it goes. You don't know what Ohio State team you're gonna get this year or this week. So we'll see. They had a little tough go with Nebraska last week. So that'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from that. But I'm actually interested in Kentucky, Tennessee. And the reason I say that is because Kentucky has been playing like big teams very well this year. Yeah. Like, they went to Ole Miss, beat them when they was number 5, had a really good game against Georgia, almost knocked them off too. And then now you go into Tennessee, and they might be the team that, you know what I'm saying? They might be the team that's knocking off the top dog. So you never know what you're going to get out of them, because they've lost some games that, they probably, had a chance to win. So, yeah. But they play very well against those tougher teams. So I'm interested to see how that game goes too.
I will say this, y'all boys. Ohio State, this is a must win, bro.
They have to win.
It's a must win, because look at Penn State this week, Indiana, and then we say whatever we want about Michigan, but we know rivalry games, it always get tough, especially that game. Yeah. And then a potential of having to go and probably face Oregon again in the Big Ten championship, or whoever it is that make it out. This is a must win game for O State.
Is Ryan Day on the hot seat enough to where if you're losing 2 of these next 4 or 5, obviously they're gonna make the playoff. They gonna make the playoff. But
we don't know, bro. I
think they got a good chance of making it. Even if you look, I'm about to say even if you lose 2, but
I don't know. Indiana there. We got Oregon.
Oregon.
They beat them, so it's not gonna be.
Indiana hasn't lost yet, right?
No, they haven't lost yet. So yeah.
But say hypothetically speaking, they lose 2 games, right? They make the playoff, whatever that looks like. They lose Big Ten championship or whatever. They don't win a natty. Is Ryan Day out?
It's a different type of expectation over there, so it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, who you going out there to get though? You just hiring Chip Kelly, or like who you going to get? Like, yeah, it don't mean everything gonna be so much better. You go get.
Some people were saying that's the only way. That's the only reason Chip Kelly went out there in the first place.
It may be, but I mean, who knows? Chip ain't really done nothing too crazy at the college level. So it's like, I might well keep Ryan Day. So I think he's been getting some tough criticism, and I get it. They got a stacked football team, but it's hard to win, man. The game different now. Like,
do they play in the Big House this year?
No, Ohio. I meant Michigan go to Ohio State.
They go to Ohio State.
Michigan go to Ohio State. It's tough, especially the climate in today's college football. Especially these teams that expect to win. If you don't win in 2-3 years, they was calling for his job when he only lost 1 game.
That's crazy.
To Michigan. Yeah. Michigan ended up going to the National. Obviously the one year they went to the playoffs and they could have beat. Wow, he missed the field goal. They could have beat Georgia, but Marvin got hurt. So it's in football. It got a funny way. In college football, it got a funny way of working, man. Because I don't think he should be on the hot seat, but like you said, James, there's different kind of expectations over there. Them people want to win. And they want to not only want to win, they want to win. They want to win the national championship.
Yeah. And Pert put in the chat, if he loses to Michigan, it may be just alumni uproar to get him up out of there. They probably just pissed off he can't beat Michigan.
3 in a row.
I mean, that could be some. I don't know, but them people, they got a different. Like, their expectation is they ain't even through the roof. That thing in the sky. Like, them boys think they the top of the top, every single year. And it's hard, man. And then you got 12-team playoff. It's gonna be tougher for everybody, I think.
And NIL making a big difference right now. Like,
you got Oregon coming into the conference. It's about to get real tough for a lot of other teams, man. About to get real tough for a lot of other teams.
Should be
perfect example. These old State alumni fans, you see what Alabama got going on, and Coach Saban stepped away. And you brought a new coach in, and you think you posted like, all right, you
careful what you wish for.
Be careful what you wish for. You winning 11, 12 games, 10 at 10 the minimum. Like you get a coach that come in and it can go left real fast,
real quick.
Players get the transfer and all that. It's
for sure.
It's a different ball game, man. Should be another good week of college football and NFL football. It's a wrap for this Money Down podcast on the Believe Network presented by betonline.ag. Appreciate you guys tuning in, watching, liking, subscribing. Appreciate the love.